dear friends, welcome back to UGC CEC Gurukul lecture series. We were talking about types of mutual funds. Taking the discussion further, there are another kind of funds known as leverage funds. Now, these are those funds that operate unlike traditional mutual funds. The earning from these funds happen when the market fall, and when the market do well with these funds, they tend to go into losses. So, they try to take the benefit of the leverage, and that is how these funds operate. Asset allocation funds are again a popular kind of funds. Now, in these funds the portfolio manager can adjust the allocated assets to achieve the results. These funds can split the invested amount and invest it in various instruments like bonds and equity. Gilt funds are those mutual funds where funds are invested in government securities for a long term. Since they are invested in government securities, they are virtually risk free and can be the ideal investment for those who don't want to take any risk. Exchange traded funds, these are a newer kind of funds which get the benefit of both open and closed ended mutual funds and are traded on the stock market. These funds are not actively managed by the fund manager, but they are managed passively and can offer a lot of liquidity because they are available on exchange and buying and selling can take place on the exchange. Now, let us talk about importance of mutual fund. What is the purpose? Why mutual funds are so popular and what benefit do mutual funds provide? Mutual funds provide help in channelizing savings from investment. You can imagine very small investors who have, let us say, 2000 rupees per month somebody can spare and invest in a mutual fund scheme, and then his total capital investment grows over years, and if 1 lakh people invest 2000 rupees every month, you can imagine the kind of money gets collected by the mutual fund, and that huge investment gets invested in the capital market, and it provide benefit both to the investors as well as to the economy. Another benefit of mutual fund investment is it offers wide portfolio investments. So, small and medium investors can enjoy wider portfolio investment by the help of mutual funds because their risk get diversified by investment of shares in different kind of companies and corporates. So, the mutual fund holders, they get the benefit of portfolio diversification. That means their risk will be minimized if they invest through a mutual fund. Mutual funds provide better yield than many other investment instruments like fixed deposit, PPF, although they are very safe, but if we talk about returns, then mutual fund provide with a medium risk very good returns and then it is not as risky as investing in stock market because unsystematic risk of the investor is minimized in this scale. These funds are professionally managed. So, because of that, the experienced fund manager is able to provide his excellent advice and is able to provide maximized returns to the investors. Economies of scale, the investor will get the benefits of economies of scale because his 2000 rupees are very small. But when lot of people invest those 2000 rupees and that collectively becomes 2 crore rupees, and if that money gets invested somewhere and in return whatever returns is again distributed equally among the unit holders. So, the benefit of economies of scale are huge. Mutual funds are highly liquid, especially the open-ended mutual funds. So, there is easy liquidity. Anytime you can buy and sell these funds because their net asset value prices are declared just like stock market. So, you will find that net asset value prices are declared by the companies on daily basis, and this is how you will find that it is highly liquid to buy and sell mutual funds. Mutual funds are very flexible. There are different ways how you can enter into mutual fund market. You can buy you can invest a lump sum money in the mutual fund. You can buy a systematic investment plan. There can be a systematic withdrawal plan, or there can be a systematic transfer plan based on the requirement which an investor has. Mutual fund industry is well regulated by SEBI. So, that means the interest of investor is safeguarded, and there are proper rules and regulations which have been framed based on which the investor's interests are protected. There is a lot of convenience for investors to invest in mutual fund, because you can invest in mutual fund through a phone call, through internet, by everything is done online. No need to roam around here and there and get. So at one place, online or physically, the application form can be filled, KYC will be done, and mutual funds will be transferred to your account, and while selling also it will be very easy for you to do. It can act as a substitute for IPOs. So those people who are not able to invest in IPOs, sometimes IPOs become oversubscribed. So you will find that there are funds who will, as a qualified institutional investor, they will get some share of buying the IPO or subscribing the IPO through the institutional investment mode. Thus, you can get the benefit of investment in IPO. Mutual funds help in keeping the money market active. So as a institutional investors, mutual fund companies can invest in money market and can give benefits to their investors, the same benefit which otherwise they could have got from the money market, as well as they also provide higher liquidity in the money market. Mutual fund industry operates very transparent, on a transparent basis, and all the information is available to the investors through fact sheets, documents, annual report, through company websites, through mutual fund industry websites. They are able to provide expert investment service at a very low cost, because your cost of mutual fund expert advice gets distributed over more number of people. So investor is assured of the quality service, as well as he get the all kind of benefit by investing in the fund, the professional advice, and the kind of returns which a mutual fund can provide. As a individual investor, one is not able to get, and all this is available at a low cost. They provide research services in terms of that the investment which they make are research driven. Apart from that, they also give advice to their investors related to how to go about with the market, how it is behaving. There are mutual funds which provide tax benefits, and one can achieve capital appreciation as well as tax concession. Mutual funds are supporting capital market in a big way, because as institutional investors, they are players in the market who enter into the market, who provide enough liquidity and turnover in the market by investing through their clients' money. Overall industrial development of the economy is taken care of by the mutual fund industry, because as an institutional investor, as a big player in the financial market, because it is one channel after banking sector who is directly investing with this, directly interacting with the small retail investors, collecting their money and bringing it in a pool and investing it in the stock market. So you can imagine the kind of industrial development and economic growth they are contributing to. There are some limitations of mutual fund. One is that it offers higher risk, right? Because primarily they are investing their money, mutual funds are investing their money in the stock market. So the way stock market is going to operate, that is going to affect the returns to the investors. Now these funds are managed by others. Now you invest your money, and your money is being managed by some expert managers, fund managers. How good they are, so a lot of your investment returns are dependent upon how efficient and how good those fund managers are in terms of managing the things. You do not, as an investor, have no control over the cost. How much, whatever cost they are incurring as a fund, right? So you have to pay that cost in terms of management fees, fund distribution cost, and other kind of mutual fund services. All of this is coming at a cost, but the retail investor has no control over these costs. There are too many product choices right now which are available. So every company which is into the NBFC or the financial sector, they have offered some instrument in the form of mutual funds, and even one mutual fund company will have all kind of different products available. So it becomes very difficult for a retail investor to even choose and decide which fund is a good one. What are the risks associated with mutual fund? There are various kind of risks which affect mutual fund industry. One very important risk is the market risk, because indirectly it is related with the market, capital market or stock market investment. So the systematic risk of the market, or the economic risk of the market, or the market risk which can operate, which can come up from the business cycles, that is affecting the mutual fund industry as well. There are scheme risk with respect to every scheme which is defined. For example, if there is growth scheme, so there is high risk, because investor expect more returns, and the growth scheme will invest money more in the blue chip companies, which are high growth oriented companies. There is investment risk, because mutual fund can make money or in shares or loses depending upon the investment expertise of the asset management company. So if that asset management company investment advice goes wrong, you will find that the investment risk will be high. There is business risk, because the mutual fund companies are investing in companies' shares, because of which there can be operational risk or the business risk associated to those companies that can affect the mutual fund. There are political risk involved in mutual fund organizations, in the mutual fund investment, because as the government policies will change, that will definitely have an impact on the mutual fund. Liquidity risk, if there is no liquidity in the market, let's say you want to sell but there is no buyer in the market, so in that case the whole there can be chances that you get stuck up with certain mutual funds which are not able to sell. There is a credit risk, that issuer of the scheme is unable to pay what was promised as interest to the investors. So that means you should not go by the credit rating agencies and what they are saying in terms of that this is a good fund or not a good fund, but you have to look at the past historical performance of the fund while deciding whether you should invest in a particular mutual fund or not. Now there is an important concept related to net asset value. With mutual funds, you will find every day in the newspaper or on mutual fund website. So these units which are issued or which are sold by the mutual fund company to the retail investors, they come at a price. The price or the value of this investment is known as net asset value. So this net asset value is nothing but the market price of each unit of a particular scheme in relation to all the assets of the scheme. So it can also be termed as the intrinsic value of the unit. Basically, this value is a true indicator of the performance of the fund. You will find that if NAV is more than the face value, it indicates that the money invested in the unit has appreciated and the fund has performed well. Now, mutual fund invests the money which is collected from the investors in securities market. Since market value of the securities, the underlying securities in the stock market changes every day, NAV of the scheme also varies on day-to-day basis. The NAV per unit is the market value of the securities of a scheme divided by the total number of units of the scheme on a particular day. So let's say, for example, if market value of security of mutual fund scheme is 200 lakh and mutual fund has issued 10 lakh units of 10 rupees each, then the NAV per unit of the fund is rupees 20. So this NAV is required to be disclosed by the mutual fund company on daily basis. So the formula for mutual fund investment NAV calculation is NAV per unit is calculated as total assets minus liabilities divided by number of outstanding units for the mutual fund. Now the investor can call up the fund any time to find out what is the NAV. Some mutual funds you will find will publish it in the newspaper. So every day NAV per unit of all mutual fund scheme have to be updated on AMFI. AMFI is the Association of Mutual Funds of India website and the mutual fund website by 11 p.m. of the same day. Fund of funds are allowed till 10 a.m. the next day to update the information about the NAVs. Unlike stocks, now stock market is very volatile and it in the intraday only you will find minute to minute changes in the stock market. But in case of NAVs, the mutual fund schemes are declared at the end of the trading day because their performance is based on the performance of the stock market. So as per the SEBI guidelines, they have to declare the NAV at the end of the day. So as per SEBI mutual fund regulations of all mutual fund schemes other than the liquid scheme, mutual fund units are allotted only at a prospective NAV. That means the NAV that would be declared at the end of the day based on the closing market value held in the respective schemes. Thus, it is important for us to know that the cutoff time for submission or receipt of transaction. If you invest before the cutoff time, you will get end of the day NAV of the particular day. And the cutoff time for the purchase transaction of all mutual fund schemes other than the liquid fund scheme is 3 p.m. Now, selling and buying of this mutual fund. So, sale price is the price which is applicable, which is paid by an investor for the purchase of units of the mutual fund. So, entry load right now is abolished after 2009 circular of SEBI. They have abolished entry load on all mutual fund. What is entry load? Entry load is the expenses or the cost which you have to pay while buying the mutual fund. So, if there is some upfront fees which you have to pay, that is the entry load, that has been removed as of now. So, during the new fund offer, whenever a mutual fund offers a new fund, or it is a open ended scheme which is open, or a closed ended scheme which is launched, the sale price per unit is at face value per unit as specified by the Scheme Information Document SID and Key Information Memorandum known as KIM. And during the ongoing offer period, that is the date from which the scheme reopens for subscription and redemption after the closing of the net new offer period. So, units of NAV may be purchased and the sale price per unit is equivalent to the applicable NAV on the date of subscription. If we talk about repurchase or redemption price, repurchase is when mutual fund buys back its own units. So, it will charge an exit load. So, wherever it is applicable, so there will be an exit load. That means at the time of redemption you have to pay some charges which in the form of expenses incurred by the mutual fund, which will be charged. So, let us say the redemption price will be calculated as applicable NAV multiplied with 1 minus exit load. So, if there is exit load of let us say 2% and the NAV applicable is 10 rupees, then the redemption price will be, you will be subtracting 2% out of 10 rupees and that price you will get. It may be noted that AMC trustee has the right to modify existing exit load structures and to introduce exit loads subject to a maximum limit as prescribed by the company. You can see this chart shows the growth of mutual funds since inception. There are various phases of mutual fund growth in country. After the phase 3, you can see how tremendously mutual fund investments have grown in India. Now, these mutual funds, they buy the shares with the amount of fund, they will buy and sell the shares in the stock market. So, this is as on April 2019, how much investment in terms of purchase of equity shares by the mutual funds and purchase of borrowed capital by the mutual funds as on April 2019, and sale of equity shares and debenture instruments by the mutual fund companies. So, this is these are the figures which are given in crores. Now, if we talk about the organization of fund, there is a sponsor. It is an institution which promote the fund. There is a team of trustee who oversee the operations and provide checks for efficient, profitable and transparent operations. And then there includes asset management company, which will actually deal with the fund. So, there are, as discussed, trustees are people who have long experience, good integrity in their respective fields in the mutual fund. Then there is a custodian who is responsible for safekeeping of assets of the fund, which may be mainly be in large volumes of securities. Operations of the fund. So, for managing a fund, the fund gets an annual fee of 1.25% of the fund managed at the maximum as fixed by SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations 1993. If the fund exceeds rupees 100 crores, it is only 1%. They cannot charge more than that. So, there are regular expenses like custodial fee, cost of dividend warrant, fee for registration, asset management fees. All of these are debited to the scheme expenses. So, these expenses cannot exceed 3% of the assets in the respective scheme. Now, there are three approaches how you can invest in mutual funds. One, systematic approaches. One is SIP. So, systematic investment plan is that out of your total income, every month you fix up that you will, invest some little money in the mutual fund. So, it will be directly debited. Let us say you start a SIP of systematic investment plan of 2000 rupees or 1000 rupees. So, 1000 rupees from your bank account automatically will start going to the mutual fund company, and mutual fund company will buy units based on the current NAV going on. So, that means what will happen if every month, let us say 2000 rupees are deducted from your account and it goes to the mutual fund and some units are purchased. So, at the end of the year, in 12 months, you will accumulate all those units which were purchased for those 2000 rupees. Every month the NAV price was different. So, you can get the advantage of fluctuations of prices. So your rupee cost averaging will also happen in the process. So in the 12 months, some days prices will be high, some day prices will be low. So your average will come out to be very good in that terms. And then you will also get the benefit of portfolio diversification. And then investing 2000 rupees, a small sum of money every month, doesn't even pinch your pocket as well. So it is a very good way of investing, and accumulatively at the end of the year your money invested will be lump sum. So then there is systematic withdrawal plan. In this case, the investor has the option of withdrawing from his fund weekly, monthly, quarterly, and thus he can, without any extra paperwork, and every time they need money depending upon their convenience. Systematic transfer plan is investor can transfer money from one fund to other, mainly by simply signing up a form to confirm that he would need to transfer his money from one fund to the other. Mutual fund companies, they have certain charges. They will charge you one-time charges. So they charge a nominal amount of money, let's say 150 rupees for 10,000 rupees which is being invested, and then there is load. This load is a commission or fee which a mutual fund can charge. Then there is exit load. Exit load is levied when investor tries to make trade before the maturity, and this load is variable in nature, ranges from 0.25% to 4% based on the scheme, and this is mainly levied on people who stay in the lock-in period, and no exit charges apply if the investor sell his shares after the lock-in period. There is a recurring charge or a periodic fees which a mutual fund may charge on annual basis for advising, marketing and other expenses. There is management fees. It is for paying the fund manager for his services. Account fees is charged by the mutual fund company when the investor do not meet with a minimum balance in their account criteria. If you are switching from one mutual fund to another, there can be a switching price which you have to pay. Then there is total expense ratio. This is the fees charged for the professional management of the fund and other operational activities like advisory, sales commission, legal, audit, registrar, administration, marketing work. So this total is known as total expense ratio. So when you are investing in mutual fund, you should not only look at, what is the NAV going on, how much return that mutual fund has provided to you in last 1 year, to other investors in last 1 year, in last 3 years, in last 5 years. This will show you a trend, a persistence trend of the mutual fund manager, how he has been performing. And third important thing, you have to see its total expense ratio. How much is the total charges or total cost the mutual fund is charging? So the funds which have got high expense ratio, you should try and avoid investing in them, because your returns will be reduced by the amount of cost which you have to pay. There can be fund administration fees which you have to pay, fund accounting fees, professional services fees, registration fees, shareholder communication expenses which they may charge as a mutual fund. So all of these things are associated with mutual fund, and when you are investing in mutual fund, you have to look at all of these perspectives. Now let's talk about another concept called as exchange traded funds. Similar to mutual fund, there are products known as exchange traded fund. As the name suggests, exchange traded fund, these are the funds which are available on stock exchanges, and they are the underlying asset for these funds is like gold or indexes. So all of these, so they behave similar to mutual funds. So both of these are diversified instrument. If we talk about similarities between mutual funds and exchange traded funds, so both of them are diversified instruments. So ETF work like index mutual funds, but they are similar to index mutual funds, but they are passively managed as compared to mutual funds which are actively managed. Mutual fund is an investment fund where a lot of people invest and pool in their money. ETF is index fund which tracks the index and is listed on the stock exchange. The way they trade, that also is different. In case of mutual fund, we get the NAVs at the end of the day, end of the trading day, but in case of ETF, they can trade intraday and during the day as well, their prices keep on changing. The expense ratio for ETF is little lower as compared to the mutual fund. Then repeating specific transactions automatically, ETF transaction would not be suitable investment for repetitive kind of transactions as compared to mutual funds. So, very popular ETFs are index funds and gold funds. And these are available on stock exchanges, as one person cannot, if somebody doesn't is not able to afford gold in the physical form and wants to have some safe investment in the form of gold, they can go for gold ETF investments. So, this will be very useful for the investors. So, overall in the nutshell, I would like to say that mutual fund has emerged as a very important investment avenue for small investors, retail investors who want returns higher than what government securities or what banking saving instruments are providing, but they also do not have that expertise or do not want to take that risk to go into the stock market. So, mutual fund comes in between all of these, and based on the kind of regulatory framework which SEBI and MFI has. So, it is considered to be a safe investment where investor rights and grievances are taken care of and protected. So, it is a good bet to invest in mutual funds. That's all for today, and in the next lecture maybe we will continue more about performance. How do we check the performance of these mutual funds? Thank you so much.